Hello guys, welcome back to another video of King Trevor. And today we're doing my NFL playoff predictions. Well, let's get into it. We're going to start off with Tennessee and Baltimore. Tennessee, last two times they played Baltimore, they won. Everyone thought Baltimore was going to win in the playoffs, but did that happen? No. Tennessee looked pretty scary. Okay, let me rephrase that. They didn't look pretty good against Houston. Because what I was going to say sounded like they did really, really good against Houston. They didn't look very good against Houston. They won by a field goal to a not a very good Houston team this year. So, let's get with Baltimore. Baltimore played pretty bad teams their few last games with the Giants, Jaguars, and Bengals. Not really good opponents. That's like the only reason why they're in the playoffs. The other teams that were battling for a playoff spot had pretty tough opponents. But the Baltimore Ravens really didn't. So I am going to give this one to the Tennessee Titans. I think it's pretty clear that the Titans will pull this off again. Let's go with this. And the Titans' final score will be 30-24 Titans. Steelers, Browns. I think the Steelers are gonna win because the Steelers beat the Browns 38-7 earlier in the season with their starters versus starters. Now the Steelers versus the Browns last week, it was Cleveland starters versus Pittsburgh's backups. And Pittsburgh almost won 24-22. And if you're going to almost lose to the Steelers' backups, Cleveland, I can't pick you. Yes, I am a Steelers fan. I might be being biased, but if you're going to lose 38-7 against the Steelers starters and then almost lose with the Steelers backups, I think it's pretty clear that the Steelers are going to win this one. And I'm going to say it's going to be 34-20. Steelers are winning. Now we got the Buffalo Bills and Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, last year, Andrew Luck retired before the start of the season. Before Andrew Luck retired, I did think the Colts were going to be a playoff team last year. But Andrew Luck retired, and they had Jacoby Brissett, which they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they almost did, I'm pretty sure. So, and this past offseason, they brought in former Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers to play, and he turned this team around to 11-5. So I think they did pretty good this year. In Buffalo, I didn't think they were going to win this division. I thought Miami was going to win this division on a tiebreaker, 11-5 for both Buffalo and Miami. But Buffalo ended up winning by 3 games. And I didn't really have high faith on Buffalo this season. Josh Allen has looked like a MVP player this year. But it's obviously going to be between Mahomes and Rodgers. Maybe Allen might get some votes for it. But it's definitely between Rodgers and Mahomes. I think Rodgers should honestly win it. So, I am going to give it to Buffalo, ending the playoff win drought over. Final score, 31 Bills, 13 Colts. Okay, let's get with the NFC. Buccaneers, Washington. Let's talk about Washington. Yes, Alex Smith. Some Steelers fans might say Big Ben deserves Comeback Player of the Year. But I know some Steelers fans that say Alex Smith should win it. And I'm one of those. Yes, Big Ben did get injured for the whole entire season last year. and brought Pittsburgh to an 11-0 start and 12-4 at the end of the season. But don't forget that Alex Smith was told that he might never walk again. And look where he is now. Bringing Washington a division title, I mean, that's pretty easy with the AFC East. But remember, last year, the winner of the division had 9 wins. This year, the winner had 7 wins. Alex Smith looked pretty good this season, bringing Washington to a division title and a playoff spot. But they're playing Tom Brady's Buccaneers. Even though Washington's going to be home, it's going to be very hard for Washington to beat the Buccaneers. But I do think it will be a close game. I think Tom Brady's going to win this one, and it's going to be 24-17 Buccaneers. Seahawks, Rams. Now the Rams, they could have won this division, but they choked against the Jets. That Jets loss basically eliminated their chance for winning this division, even though it technically didn't. They were still in contention for winning it, but it basically eliminated them because they lost to the Jets. They lost to the Seahawks. So the Seahawks won this division 2-4, 12-4. Now let's look at the Seahawks. They beat the Rams. They tied the series so far. The Rams didn't look pretty good against the Seahawks either. And I don't think Jared Goff is going to be playing this week. He might be, but I don't know. As of right now, today, January 5th, I don't know. With the Seahawks. At the beginning of the season, Russell Wilson looked like an MVP player. But their offense at the beginning of the season was really good, and their defense was bad. But now at the end of the season, it's the other way around. The offense hasn't been looking pretty good, and the defense has been looking good. Now, I do think Seattle will pull this off in a close game, 23-20 Seahawks. Okay, Saints, Bears. This is going to be a pretty good game between the Bears and Saints. But I do think Drew Brees' Saints will come up at the end. The Bears barely got into the playoffs. They needed basically, even though they lost, the Cardinals lost, so they got in. If the Bears lost and the Cardinals won, then the Cardinals would have been in. And I'm not sure if the Rams would make it either if they lost. They might have, but I don't think they would have. Now, Mitchell Trubisky, the Bears started 5-1 this season, went on a 6-game losing streak to be 5-7, then went on a 3-game winning streak to be 8-7, and then lost the last game. Mitchell Trubisky has been looking good the past few weeks. But will that continue against the Saints? No. Now the Saints, they're going to be home in the Superdome. Now the Saints, they don't got to play the Vikings this year, which I'm sure a lot of Saints fans are happy because the Saints always get bounced by the Vikings the past years. In 2017, I think it was, they got beaten on the Minneapolis Miracle, and then the year after, a blown no-call pass interference, which basically sent the Rams to the Super Bowl. And last year, Kyle Rudolph game-winning overtime touchdown. Now, I do think the Saints will win this year. They will end the losing streak in the first round from last year. That made no sense at all. But the Saints are going to win this one 27-17. This might be Drew Brees' last season. Let's get into the divisional round, where we will start with the AFC, where we got Buffalo and Pitt, Kansas City and Tennessee. Okay, let's start with Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did not look very good against Buffalo earlier, a couple weeks ago. Pittsburgh was dropping passes, were turning the ball over. The receivers weren't looking good. They were constantly dropping the ball. And Buffalo looked pretty good. That pick six at the end of the half got Buffalo's momentum going to end up winning it. I think it was 26-15, the final. It might have been something else, but I think it was 26-15. Now, Buffalo, they haven't been in the AFC Championship in a long time. A very long time. It might have been the last time they were in the Super Bowl, but it could be something else, but I don't know. But I do think Pittsburgh will win. I'm going with Buffalo to win this game. Now we got Kansas City, Tennessee. Kansas City hasn't been looking good the past few weeks, coming off a loss to the Chargers. Now Mahomes might be rusty going into this game. People have been saying the Titans are the biggest threat to Kansas City in the playoffs. Do I think that? It's between Tennessee, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo for their biggest threat. Mahomes hasn't been looking good. Is Kansas City going to win? I'm going to say yes. Okay, NFC, Seattle, New Orleans, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. Let's start with the Saints and Seahawks. Seahawks, pretty good team. They won their division. The Saints won their division. Drew Brees, again, this is probably his last season in the NFL. My gut's saying Seahawks, but I think the Saints. Final score, 24-22. And I forgot to give you my final prediction for the Kansas City, Tennessee score. I do think it's going to be 34-30 Kansas City. Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's probably going to retire after next season. He's probably going to play this contract out. Aaron Rodgers has a couple more years in him. He probably could pull a Tom Brady and play until his 43s, mid-40s. Aaron Rodgers has been looking pretty good. I do think he's going to win the MVP award this year. It's looking pretty clear that Aaron Rodgers is winning this MVP award. I do think Green Bay is going to win in a close game, 17-14, in a low-scoring game because of the snow in Lambeau Field. Now let's get with the championship games. Kansas City, Buffalo. Kansas City is looking like a playoff Super Bowl team, is what I meant. Buffalo hasn't been in the Super Bowl in a while. Since last time they made it, 1993, something like that. Kansas City won the Super Bowl last year. The defending champs are gonna win this game in a close game, 28-24. Now the NFC Championship, Green Bay, New Orleans. Green Bay, pretty good team. Saints, pretty good team. Aaron Rodgers, again, probably winning the MVP in Lambeau Field. The Saints, are used to indoor stadium where they play. I don't think they're going to be ready for the cold weather in Green Bay. So I do think Green Bay will win 28-17. Time for the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Packers. The Chiefs, defending champions, 14-2. I keep thinking they are 15-1, but they lost, so they're 14-2. The Packers, 13-3, with a combined 5 losses between these two teams. So they're 27-5 between these two teams. I do think Aaron Rodgers will end up winning this game in Tampa Bay to become Super Bowl 55 champions, to get his second ring. So Green Bay will win 31-28 for Super Bowl champions. Here's the playoff bracket one more time. And that will be the end of this video. Until next time, peace.